This video is about she was just a widow until a philanthropist gave her a school. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. In the quaint village of Aldergrove, nestled between rolling hills and shimmering streams, lived a woman named Clara. She was known for her gentle smile, a smile that held stories untold and dreams unfulfilled. The sun had just begun its ascent, casting a warm golden hue over her modest home, reminding Clara of brighter days. The winds whispered through the trees, as if sharing secrets of hope, but Clara's heart felt heavy. It had been a year since her husband, Thomas, passed away unexpectedly, leaving her with a small flower shop and a world of memories. She often found herself staring out of the window, watching children run through the fields, laughter echoing like music, a stark contrast to her solitude. "Good morning," Clara called out Mrs. Jennings, an elderly neighbor with a knack for bringing warmth into chilly mornings. Clara waved back, her heart aching with the bittersweet reminder of community. Mrs. Jennings had come to rely on Clara's flowers for her weekly tea gatherings, but today, Clara didn't feel like tending to the blooms. "Are you coming to the market later?" Mrs. Jennings pressed, her brow furrowed with concern. I'll try," Clara replied, forcing a smile. The thought of facing the world outside felt like climbing a mountain. Days turned into weeks, and Clara buried herself in her work. The flower shop was a sanctuary, but the walls echoed with silence when the sun dipped below the horizon. One evening, as Clara was closing up, she noticed a familiar face, a young girl named Lily, who often visited with her mother. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, a stark contrast to Clara's weariness. "Why do you look so sad, Miss Clara?" Lily asked, her innocent voice breaking through the stillness. Clara knelt down, the weight of the world resting on her shoulders. "Sometimes, grown-ups forget how to be happy," she replied softly, "but I am trying." Lily nodded, her head bobbing like a sunflower swaying in the breeze. "You could make a happy flower garden. Flowers make everyone smile." That night, Clara couldn't shake the girl's words from her mind. Perhaps she was right. Maybe she could create something beautiful amidst her pain. But the thought of a garden felt daunting, responsibility she wasn't sure she was ready to take on. Days passed, and the shadows of doubt began to lift slightly, touched by the light of possibility. As she worked on a new arrangement, Clara began to envision a garden, one that would bring joy to her community. It became a flicker of hope, a dream worth nurturing. However, reality soon barged in, reminding her of the bills piling up and the looming threat of closing her flower shop. One rainy afternoon, while she was rearranging some tulips, the bell above the door jingled. A tall, distinguished woman entered, her presence commanding but kind. Clara wiped her hands on her apron and greeted her. "Hello, I am Margaret Sinclair," the woman introduced herself with a warm smile. "I've heard so much about your flowers. They say they brighten even the gloomiest days." "Thank you," Clara replied, feeling a spark of warmth at the compliment. As they chatted, Clara learned that Margaret was a philanthropist who traveled the world, seeking to uplift communities. Clara felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Maybe Margaret could help her transform her idea into reality. "Tell me, Clara," Margaret asked, her hazel eyes glinting with interest, "what dreams do you hold close?" Clara hesitated. "I want to create a community garden," she confessed. "A place for children to play and learn, a space filled with flowers and laughter." Margaret listened intently, her expression thoughtful. "That sounds wonderful, but what is holding you back?" Clara swallowed hard, the reality of her situation crushing down. "I don't have the funds. I am barely keeping the shop afloat." Margaret placed a reassuring hand on Clara's shoulder. "Sometimes, all it takes is a little push. What if I helped you get started?" Tears brimmed in Clara's eyes, a mix of disbelief and hope. "You would do that for me?" "Of course, we can create something beautiful together," Margaret replied, her voice a soothing balm to Clara's weary soul. As they mapped out plans over the next few weeks, Clara felt a resurgence of energy. The garden began to take shape, with Clara leading the charge, rallying the community to join hands in this endeavor. "Let us have a planting day," Clara suggested one afternoon at the local cafe, when neighbors gathered for coffee. They looked at her, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. "Are you sure we have the time?" Mrs. Jennings asked, her face etched with concern. Of course, we can meet on Saturdays. It will be our little oasis." Clara beamed, her enthusiasm catching. Slowly, the community began to rally around her vision, inspired by Clara's determination. The old town hall offered a patch of land, and soon the first planting day arrived. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow over the gathering crowd. Clara stood at the entrance of the garden, holding a basket of seeds, her heart racing with anticipation. "Welcome, everyone," she called, her voice shaking slightly. "Today, we sow not just seeds, but hope for our future." Amidst laughter and chatter, hands dug into the earth, and laughter erupted with each shared story. Clara felt the weight of her grief lifting with every seed they planted. The garden blossomed, not just with flowers, but with friendships, laughter, and renewed spirit. Weeks turned into months, and the garden flourished. Children played amidst the blooms, and neighbors gathered for picnics under the shade of blooming trees. Clara found herself smiling more often, the heaviness of her loss slowly being replaced by joy. However, one chilly winter evening, everything changed. Clara received a letter that would alter the trajectory of her dreams. Margaret had suffered a health setback and needed to focus on her recovery, putting her philanthropic efforts on hold. The news hit Clara like a thunderclap. Doubts began to seep in. "What if I can keep this going alone?" she thought, anxiety gnawing at her heart. But as she sat in her flower shop, surrounded by the vibrant blooms that had become her lifeline, Clara remembered Lily's words, "Flowers make everyone smile." That thought ignited her determination anew. "Maybe I can do this," she whispered to herself. The next day, Clara held a meeting at the garden. "I know things have changed," she began, looking out at the familiar faces. "But I believe in what we've created together. Will you stand by me?" Faces filled with determination nodded, and Clara felt a surge of hope. Together, they brainstormed ways to sustain the garden, from bake sales to flower arrangements for local events. As the flowers bloomed, so did Clara's resolve. Yet challenges loomed on the horizon, threatening to overshadow the beauty they had cultivated. One afternoon, Clara received a notice from the town council about a proposed construction project threatening their beloved garden. Heart pounding, she gathered the community at the garden once more, ready to fight for their oasis. "This place has brought us all together. We can't let it go," Clara declared, her voice ringing with passion. A sense of unity enveloped the crowd, reminiscent of their first planting day. "We'll write letters, hold meetings, and stand our ground," Clara urged. As they rallied together, Clara's spirit soared. They organized a petition, gathering signatures from townsfolk and even those from neighboring villages. Each signature was a reminder of their collective strength, a testament to their belief in something greater than themselves. Though it felt like an uphill battle, each day they fought harder for their garden. Clara often found herself reflecting on the journey from being a widow resigned to her quiet life to becoming a beacon of hope for her community. In the end, it wasn't just about flowers, it was about resilience, about believing in the possibility of a better tomorrow, and about standing together against the tide. Little did she know, the seeds they had planted together would soon sprout into something far greater than a simple garden. To be continued. As spring unfurled its gentle hands over Elder Grove, Clara felt the first stirrings of hope against the backdrop of their fight to save the garden. The vibrant colors of tulips and daffodils began to bloom, much like the spirit of the community that surrounded her. Each day felt like a new chapter, brimming with possibility and the unyielding strength of their unity. Clara had grown accustomed to the daily hustle of community meetings, letter campaigns, and fundraisers. They had even organized an event-dubbed Garden Fest, intending to celebrate their hard work while raising awareness about the proposed construction project threatening the sanctuary. Clara stood on a makeshift stage one sunny Saturday, her heart pounding with excitement and nerves. "Thank you all for coming today," Clara called out, looking at the familiar faces that had become her family. "This garden is more than just a place filled with flowers. It represents our hopes, our dreams, and the love we share as a community." The crowd erupted in cheers, and Clara could see Lily sitting in the front row, her eyes sparkling with admiration. She had become a source of inspiration for Clara, reminding her constantly of the pure joy that sprang from simple seeds. "Let us turn our garden into a beacon of hope, a message that we won't back down," Clara continued, her voice steadying. "Today we celebrate what we have built together, and together we will fight to keep it." As laughter and joy filled the air, Clara felt a flicker of warmth in her heart, even amid the challenges they faced. However, a sense of urgency loomed over the festivities. The town council meeting was just days away, and Clara needed to gather her thoughts and strategy. "Clara," Mrs. Jennings approached, her hands trembling slightly. "I am so proud of everything you've done, but are we really going to be able to save the garden?" "Of course we are, Mrs. Jennings," Clara replied, her conviction strong. We've come this far together. Think of all those children playing among the flowers, the picnics, the laughter. We can't let it slip away. All right. Mrs. Jennings smiled, her grey hair glistening in the sun. I'll talk to my friends at the knitting club. We can make flower crowns to sell at the festival. Every penny counts. As the day wore on, Clara watched her neighbours rally together, each one contributing unique talents. The air was filled with a scent of freshly baked goods, and laughter echoed in the garden, echoing what had become a symbol of hope. But even as the festivities continued, Clara wrestled with a feeling of dread. In the back of her mind, doubts crept in. What if their efforts fell flat? What if the town council remained adamant about the construction? The evening before the council meeting, Clara sat on her porch, staring into the twilight. The garden, now illuminated by soft lights, looked enchanting and alive. But her heart was heavy. Just then, Lily appeared at her side. "Miss Clara, you look sad," she said softly, her innocent eyes wide with concern. Clara smiled, grateful for the girl's presence. "I suppose I am just a little worried, sweet girl. Tomorrow is an important day for our garden. Can I help?" Lily asked eagerly, her small hands clasped together. "You already have, Lily, just by being here and believing in our garden," Clara replied, feeling a surge of warmth. "Thank you for always reminding me that hope is like a flower, it keeps growing even in the toughest conditions." They sat together in silence, the distant sounds of nature wrapping around them. After a moment, Clara turned to Lily. "You know what? You have a wonderful idea. Let us make hope flowers tomorrow. We can hand them out to everyone at the meeting, reminders that we believe in the garden." Lily's face lit up. "Yes, hope flowers, I love it." The next day, Clara and Lily spent the morning crafting little bouquets of wildflowers, tying them with bright ribbons. Each flower symbolized the unity and love of the community they had nurtured together. As they arrived at the town hall, Clara's heart raced. The room buzzed with murmurs. Council members sat at the front, their expressions serious. Clara spotted familiar faces in the crowd, all there to support her. Their presence gave her strength. Clara took a deep breath, clutching the hope flowers tightly. The time to speak was now. "Thank you for allowing me to speak," she began, her voice steady despite the ache in her chest. "I stand before you not just as a widow or a shopkeeper, but as a representative of our community, the heart of Elder Grove." Her gaze swept across the room, taking in the faces of her friends and neighbours. "This garden isn't simply a patch of land. It is a sanctuary that we've created together. It is where we've nurtured friendships, shared laughter, and celebrated life." A few murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Clara could see Mrs. Jennings nodding, her hands resting on her knitting needles. Clara continued, "The garden represents resilience, kindness, and hope, a space where our children can learn about nature, cooperation, and community, but it holds something more precious, the spirit of togetherness that binds us all." As she spoke, Clara felt the weight of her journey behind her words. "We've come together to protect this garden because it matters to us. That is a legacy we want to leave for future generations." With that, she stepped forward and handed a bouquet of hope flowers to the council members, her heart pounding. "I urge you to consider not just the land, but the lives it has touched and the dreams it has inspired. Together, we can create something beautiful that uplifts our community rather than tearing it down." The room fell silent, and Clara could feel the collective breath of her friends behind her. Then, one of the council members cleared his throat. "Thank you for your heartfelt words, Clara. We appreciate the passion you've shown. We will consider the community's sentiments as we make our decision." With that, Clara stepped back, her heart racing. She had poured her soul into that moment, and now the outcome was out of her hands. She looked to Lily, who beamed up at her, full of pride, and it filled Clara with hope. Days turned into a week, filled with anxious waiting. Clara kept the garden alive, tending to the flowers and chatting with everyone who visited. The joy of community blossomed around her, yet she felt the weight of uncertainty lingering in the air. Then, one crisp morning, a letter arrived, addressed to Clara. Heart pounding, she tore it open, her hands trembling. The words danced before her eyes, and she could hardly believe them. "The Elder Grove Town Council has decided to preserve the community garden as a public space. We commend the community's efforts and commitment to its growth and development." Cheers erupted around her as Clara shared the news with her neighbours. Tears streamed down her face as they hugged her tightly. "We did it together!" Clara exclaimed, overwhelmed with gratitude. Lily jumped up and down, her laughter ringing bright, echoing through the air. "I knew we would. Hope flowers work." As the sun set over Elder Grove and the stars twinkled above, Clara looked out at the garden, which now stood as a testament to resilience and unity. Their efforts had not only saved the space, they had woven the fabric of their community tighter and brighter than ever before. In the weeks that followed, the garden flourished even more. Clara organized workshops, inviting local artists and gardeners to share their skills with the community. Children learned about planting, flowers, and the beauty of nature. Clara even began a story corner, where she read aloud to groups of eager young listeners, filling their imaginations with tales of adventure and magic. Elder Grove seemed to glow with newfound vibrancy. Clara found herself smiling more, her grief transforming into recognition of the love that wrapped around her like a warm blanket. She wasn't just a widow anymore, she was a phoenix rising from the ashes of her sorrow, a woman of strength, kindness, and resilience. One evening, as Clara sat in the garden surrounded by blooming flowers and laughter, she felt at peace. She realized that the garden was not just a part of her journey, but a reflection of the human spirit, ever resilient, ever hopeful, and ever beautiful. And as the stars twinkled overhead, Clara whispered a silent thank you to Thomas, her heart full of love and gratitude. She had not only found herself again, but had become a beacon of hope for others, a reminder that together they could bloom brighter than any flower. To be continued. As summer painted the village of Elder Grove in vibrant hues, Clara felt the crescendo of joy echoing through the garden she had nurtured alongside her community. The air buzzed with anticipation as the annual garden gala approached, a celebration of unity, hope, and the beauty they had cultivated together. Clara stood at the entrance of the garden, hands on her hips as she surveyed the preparations. "Look at those sunflowers, Clara," Lily exclaimed, her bright eyes wide with excitement. "They re as tall as me." Clara laughed, her heart swelling with pride. "I think they were trying to compete with you, Lily. You better stand tall next to them." Lily giggled, her joy infectious. "I'll make sure to wave at them as I dance." "Dancing sounds perfect," Clara responded, her mind swelling with memories of the past year, a journey of transformation that had turned a simple widow into a pillar of her community. Yet beneath a smile lay a tremor of anxiety. The gala was not just a celebration, it was also a fundraiser to ensure the garden's ongoing maintenance and growth. Clara felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. "Clara," Mrs. Jennings approached, her knitting needles clicking together as she walked. "Do you think we'll raise enough money? The council did say they might cut funding next year if we can't show community support." "I believe we will," Clara replied, her voice stronger than she felt. "We've come together so many times before. This garden means too much to all of us." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the garden transformed into a magical space, twinkling lights draped over branches like stars come to visit. The aroma of homemade pies wafted through the air as neighbors gathered, chatting and laughing. Clara felt her heart swell as she weaved through the crowd, sharing stories and laughter, finding joy in the simple moments. Yet, as the evening wore on, Clara's enthusiasm was interrupted by an unexpected visitor, a dark figure standing at the edge of the garden. It was Mr. Hargrove, the town's newly elected council member, known for his stern demeanor and tough stance on community projects. "Clara," he called, his voice cutting through the laughter like a knife. "Can I have a word?" Clara's stomach nodded. "Of course, Mr. Hargrove. What is on your mind?" "I've been hearing a lot of chatter about this gala, but I must remind you that without proper documentation and permits, the council might reconsider its decision about the garden." Clara's heart sank. "We've been following all the guidelines, I assure you. The residents of Elder Grove have poured their hearts into this garden." "Passion and docility replace paperwork, Clara," he replied, his tone unyielding. "You need to be prepared for a potential evaluation. I am not against your efforts, but we have rules for a reason." As he walked away, Clara felt a shadow cast over the evening's joy. Mrs. Jennings approached, concern etched across her face. "What did he want?" "He is worried about our paperwork," Clara sighed, her shoulders drooping. "He said they might reconsider the garden's status." "What do we do?" Mrs. Jennings asked, worry creeping into her voice. "We gather the necessary documentation. I'll speak with Margaret. She'll have everything we need." "Margaret?" Mrs. Jennings chuckled lightly. "She is still on the mend, dear. Are you sure she can help?" "She may be recovering, but she is still a powerhouse of ideas," Clara replied with determination. The next morning, Clara headed to Margaret's home, a quaint cottage adorned with climbing roses. She knocked nervously, and Margaret opened the door, her warm smile still a balm for Clara's heart. "Clara, what a lovely surprise. Come in, dear." As Clara stepped inside, she felt the comforting embrace of friendship. "Margaret, I need your expertise. The council is threatening to reevaluate our garden's status due to paperwork. We need to gather everything and present it to them." Margaret's brows furrowed. I see, we'll get this sorted, but you must remain calm. You've accomplished so much already. Your support means everything, Margaret, Clara said, gratitude swelling within her. They spent hours scouring through papers, compiling permits, and documenting the community's involvement in the gardening project. Clara felt empowered, buoyed by Margaret's unwavering spirit. As they worked, Margaret shared stories of her travels, tales of resilience and hope that ignited Clara's passion even more. Clara remembered that sometimes our greatest challenges become our most profound victories, Margaret said, her eyes sparkling. I believe that, Clara replied, her resolve hardening. We won't let fear overshadow our dreams. The day of the gala arrived, and Clara stood before the crowd, her heart racing. Welcome, everyone. I am grateful for each of you tonight. This garden is a testament to what we can achieve together, despite the challenges we face. The crowd erupted in applause, their faith in her evident. Clara shared stories about the garden, the laughter, the friendships, and the lessons learned. Yet, she didn't shy away from the reality of potential challenges ahead. I want you all to know that we face an important battle. Mr. Hargrove has raised concerns about our paperwork. We need to be prepared to show our community's commitment and dedication to this garden. The audience fell silent, uncertainty creeping in. But we can do this, Clara implored, her voice steady. Our strength lies in our unity. Let us show them what Eldergrove can achieve. The evening rolled on with laughter, shared meals, and the sound of music creating a tapestry of joy. Clara watched as neighbors danced, children twirled, and friendships blossomed. But she could not shake the weight of the challenges ahead. As the gala drew to a close, Clara rose once more, heart pounding. I know we're facing challenges, but I believe in our garden and in each of you. Let us stand united. The crowd erupted in applause, their spirits lifted by Clara's unwavering faith. Together, we will write letters, gather signatures, and present the garden's history to the council. We won't go down without a fight. In the following days, Clara organized meetings, rallying the community to write letters and share their stories. She watched as people poured their hearts onto paper, recounting the joy the garden had brought to their lives. One evening, as Clara sat with a few neighbors, Lily approached, clutching a book. Miss Clara, can I read everyone a story about hope? Absolutely, Lily. Clara smiled, her heart swelling. She watched as Lily opened the book, her tiny voice ringing out, weaving tales of adventure and love that captured everyone's attention. Hope is like a flower that blooms even in the toughest conditions, Lily read. It reminds us that beauty exists even when times are hard. Tears filled Clara's eyes as she listened, feeling every word resonate within her. It was true, the garden had become a symbol of resilience, a place where they all found solace in their struggles. Days turned into weeks, and the community's efforts continued to grow. Just when Clara felt the burden of doubt creeping in, she received an unexpected call. Clara, it's the town council. They want to meet with you next week to discuss your paperwork, the voice on the other end said. Her heart raced. Really? That's wonderful. But as she hung up, a wave of anxiety washed over her. What if they still didn't approve? We worked so hard, she whispered to herself, doubt gnawing at her. The night before the meeting, Clara couldn't sleep, her mind racing with what-ifs. She stepped outside, feeling the cool breeze against her skin, the stars twinkling above like tiny beacons of hope. I can do this, she murmured, recalling every face that had rallied behind her, every letter written, every child laughing in the garden. The next day, Clara arrived at the town hall, heart pounding in her chest. The room was filled with council members, and Clara felt the weight of expectation hanging in the air. Good morning, Clara, Mr. Hargrove said, his expression inscrutable. We've reviewed your documents and the community's support for the garden. It is impressive. Clara's breath caught in her throat. Thank you, it means so much to us. Mr. Hargrove leaned forward, serious but not unkind. While we appreciate the community's efforts, I must remind you that the garden must adhere to certain regulations. However, we're willing to work with you. Clara's heart raced. We will do whatever it takes to meet your requirement. After a tense discussion, they reached an agreement, a compromise that allowed the garden to remain, provided they adhered to specific guidelines. As Clara left the meeting, relief flooded over her, hope mingling with joy. Walking back to the garden, Clara felt lighter, a burden lifted from her shoulders. She could almost hear the flowers whispering their gratitude. Clara, you did it, Lily exclaimed, running up to her. We can keep the garden. Yes. The sun rose high over Eldergrove, casting a golden light that danced through the leaves of the garden Clara had fought so hard to save. The air was electric with anticipation as the community gathered, their spirits buoyed not only by the success of securing the garden but also by the bonds they had forged along the way. Clara stood at the entrance, her heart swelling with pride as she watched the familiar faces of her neighbors come together yet again. "Clara, look at the sunflowers!" Lily shouted, her excitement radiating like the sun itself. She hopped excitedly from one foot to the other, her pigtails bouncing in rhythm. "They're so tall, I think they're waving at us." Clara laughed, kneeling down beside Lily. "Maybe they're just like us, they're celebrating together. They wouldn't be here if it weren't for all the love and care from our community. Can we pick some today?" Lily asked, her curiosity unbounded. "Let us save them for the garden gala next week. We can showcase how beautiful our hard work has made this place." Clara smiled, excitement bubbling within her as she envisioned the festive event. However, beneath her delight lurked a familiar sense of responsibility. The gala would not only celebrate their victories but also raise funds to ensure the garden's continued growth. Clara understood that with every flower picked and every smile shared, there were challenges waiting to be faced. As the days passed, Clara immersed herself in preparations. She'd organized activities for children, coordinated with local musicians, and planned food stalls featuring homemade goodies. However, each night as she lay in bed, her mind swelled with thoughts of the council's stipulations. What if they didn't raise enough money? What if the funds weren't enough to maintain the garden? The morning of the gala, Clara awoke with a sense of urgency. The sky was overcast, a stark contrast to the vibrant colors she envisioned for the day. Gritting her teeth, she reminded herself to focus on the positive. "We can do this," she whispered, her voice barely escaping her lips. "This garden is worth fighting for." As she arrived at the garden, she found Lily along with other children, busy arranging flower bouquets. Clara's heart warmed at the sight. "What do you think?" Lily asked, holding up a handful of daisies with a proud grin. "Will people love these?" "They'll adore them. You've all done such a wonderful job," Clara exclaimed, kneeling to admire their work. "Remember, every flower has a story just like each of us." As the sun peeked through the clouds, a wave of warmth washed over the garden. Clara watched neighbors arrive with baskets and decorations, laughter echoing in the air. Mrs. Jennings approached, her smile as bright as the flowers surrounding them. "Clara, dear, this place looks enchanting. We can't wait to celebrate with everyone." "Thank you, Mrs. Jennings. I am so glad you're here to help. Your knitting club's flower crowns are the perfect touch." Clara replied, her heart swelling with gratitude for the community that had rallied around her. The gala began, and the garden resonated with laughter, music, and the scent of fresh pastries. Clara moved through the crowd, sharing stories and exchanging hugs, feeling lighter with every connection made. "Clara," the voice called from behind her. It was Mr. Hargrove, his expression unreadable yet softened from their last encounter. "May I have a word?" Clara took a breath, her heart racing. "Of course, Mr. Hargrove, how can I help you?" "I've heard wonderful things from the townsfolk about the gala. I just wanted to commend you on your efforts. It's not easy to bring a community together like this," he said, genuine respect evident in his tone. "Thank you. We've all worked so hard. It means everything to us," Clara replied, slightly taken aback by his sincerity. "I also wanted to remind you about the council's regulations. We'll all need to ensure the garden remains compliant as we move forward," he added, his seriousness returning. "I understand completely, and we're recommitted to doing everything it takes to uphold our garden. It is not just about flowers, it is about our community," Clara affirmed, her voice steady despite the flutter of nerves inside her. Hargrove nodded, satisfaction flickering across his face. "Good to hear. I'll be following your progress closely." As he walked away, Clara felt a mix of relief and apprehension. She turned back to the festivities, her heart soaring as children danced and laughter filled the air. But the weight of responsibility still lingered, pushing her forward. "Clara, come dance with us," Lily shouted, pulling her toward a circle of children swaying to the music. "All right, let us show them our best moves." Clara laughed, allowing herself to be swept into the joyful rhythm. For a moment, the worries faded, and she felt alive, surrounded by love and connection. As the sun dipped low, casting an orange glow over the garden, Clara gathered everyone together. "Thank you all for coming tonight," she began, her voice rising above the hum of excitement. "This garden stands as a symbol of our unity and our resilience, but we need your help to keep it alive." Families nodded, their devotion evident in their eyes. "Let us raise funds to ensure this place continues blooming for generations to come." A cheer erupted, and Clara felt her spirit lift. The gala was not just an event, it was a testament to their shared commitment. As the night continued, Clara saw donations pouring in, a vivid reminder of the community's love and determination. Yet the following day, a storm rolled through Eldergrove, both in weather and spirit. Clara received a call from Margaret, her tone serious. "Clara, I am afraid there are concerns regarding our funding. The council is insisting on a detailed report by the end of the week." Clara's stomach dropped. "What will happen if we can't comply?" "They might reconsider their support," Margaret replied, her voice steady but filled with concern. "We need to act fast. Gather your team. We can tackle this together." Clara nodded, determination igniting anew. "I'll call a community meeting. We can't let this slip away." As the sun set that evening, Clara stood in front of the gathered crowd, her heart racing. "Thank you for coming on such short notice. I know we've faced challenges before, but this one feels larger. We need to gather all our resources and documentation to ensure the council understands how vital this garden is to our community." Lily stood beside her, clutching her favorite book. "Can I read them a story, Miss Clara? It is about how hope grows." "Yes, Lily, that is a beautiful idea," Clara replied, feeling the warmth of community surround her. Lily opened her book, and as her soft voice filled the air, Clara looked around at the faces lit by hope. "This story reminds us that hope is like a flower that blooms even in tough times," Lily read, her innocence touching everyone present. After the story, Clara felt a surge of inspiration. "We can do this together," she called, igniting a wave of enthusiasm. "Let us work through this report as a team and show the council that this garden is a living testimony of our spirit, our love." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Clara and her neighbors pored over documents, gathered stories of the garden's impact, and organized community testimonials. Each encounter strengthened their resolve, a bond of shared purpose enveloping them. On the final day before the deadline, Clara stood in the garden, surrounded by her neighbors and their hard work. "We did this together," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "No matter the outcome, we've shown what this garden means to us." As they prepared the report, Clara looked at the vibrant flowers, each one a symbol of their perseverance, their unity, and the hope they had cultivated together. That evening, they placed the finalized report in a sealed envelope, a collective breath escaping as they handed it over to Margaret. "Tomorrow," Clara said softly, "we'll present it to the council. We have to believe in what we've accomplished." The meeting arrived, and Clara stood once more in the town hall, facing the council members. She felt the warmth of her community behind her, their unwavering support lending her strength. "Thank you for allowing us to present," Clara began, her heart steady. "This garden represents not just flowers, but the love, resilience, and hope of Eldergrove. We've gathered stories, evidence of how the space has transformed lives." As she spoke, Clara felt a connection to every face she had seen in the garden, the laughter, the tears, and the friendships forming. After presenting their findings, she looked up at Mr. Hargrove. "This garden is a reflection of our community's heart. We will not back down. We have fought too hard for this." The room fell silent, and Clara held her breath, waiting for the council's decision. Mr. Hargrove leaned forward, his expression contemplative. "Your passion for this project is evident. We appreciate your dedication, and we believe this garden is a valuable asset to the community." Clara's heart raced as she realized what he was saying. "Are you saying?" "Yes, we will support the garden and help you fulfill the requirements needed for its continued success," he said, a hint of a smile breaking through.